Got it. All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. Today we have again Stephanie with DCNW. Discontinued Now What? And by the way,
Yes,
she has a podcast too. So check the notes.
I do. Thank you. Thank you. I
Hey,
feel like
Stephanie,
a
how are you?
Viking today.
I know,
I live
right?
in Florida, but it was a little chilly today. So
You're
getting
channeling the Viking.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Viking warrior princess over here.
I know, right? She's got stories about that. She's got stories. She's been given signs too. Speaking of, that is kind of the topic of the spirit chat today is signs and stories and more signs and things like that. So where do you want to start with that? Where should we start?
So let's see. I mean, when did you kind of notice like certain signs that were from, either loved ones past or, different synchronicities and stuff that you noticed that you actually started kind of paying attention to? Because I know we're just kind of talking off air and stuff, but there's just sometimes little things that just kind of keep on repeating and repeating and repeating. And sometimes they're so annoying that we have to kind of pay attention. So when was kind of what was something that you remember that was like, okay, well, this keeps happening or this keeps showing up or something. And, you actually pulled that and actually said, okay, this belongs to so-and-so or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you said repeating made me think of something when I was little. I would hear a word or something just repeat on a record, and it freaked me out. And I was kind of scared to tell my mom, thinking that maybe, there was something wrong with me. I need to go to the crazy house or something.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the word was, but I think that was the first kind of budding of things coming through with clairaudience. And as I was thinking on things yesterday, I realized that I have had quite a bit of clairaudience throughout my life. And, really up until yesterday, I didn't exactly tie it together. And that's how this works, guys.
Yeah.
Been doing this like 13 years and I'm just now having an aha moment. Wait a minute. And I know that I would see some things when I was younger. Didn't know what to do with it, of course. Yeah. But fast forwarding to some of the things now, I mean, I don't know when the first time that I noticed there was a block where I just blocked it all out. I was done. I was like 16, through about 20 something. I just wasn't having it. So I wasn't paying attention to anything. I was just kind of playing around in life. And then things started to come to me. I think it's when I started really kind of trying to slow my mind and pay attention to things. I started getting into some Buddhism and trying to calm my anger. I had a lot of anger growing up. And surprisingly, yes, folks, I was an angry bunny. I lost my temper a lot. So that was a challenge. I got into kickboxing and karate and Buddhist chants and anything I could do to take control and quiet my mind. And in doing that, I started to see some things and hear some things, that I didn't register. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder if I have something, in a good way, like magic or something. But I really didn't pay too much attention until I got into the angel work. Yeah. And they literally told me some things to look for. And I very quickly realized I had been seeing those all along. Number sequences, songs, lyrics and songs and things like that.
Songs has always been a thing for me. And when I was in like younger, how you always said that there was a word or something that kept on repeating. For me, it was always the deja vu. I'm like, I was here. I did this already. Or I know that this is going to happen. Or I knew that somebody was going to say a certain thing. And I would say it. And my sister and my aunt would just kind of look at me like, how did you know that? I'm like, didn't we do this already? And I was young. I was like, maybe, 9 or 10, maybe even 8. Like I remember being very young and I was like, why does this always happen? Like, I don't know if I was like maybe not paying attention to it, but now kind of thinking about if, if this is something new or this is something that's always kind of been there and has been dormant. I think it's definitely the latter. It's been dormant because it's things that I've recognized over time. I'm like, deja vu all the time when I was young, all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And when did you pick it up in the moment, or is it kind of like looking back, you're remembering all this? Because as you and I are talking, I'm now thinking of more things. I think our discussion is going to help me remember little things that I just forgot over time.
I don't know if it was, I was paying attention to it because and that's the funny part is that, so in my family and our, in South American culture, we're very, religious, but in the sense of also accepting of, the passing of others and spirits and guides and all that stuff. So that was never anything super strange for me or very odd, because my mom's really best friend, she would actually see different things, like nothing bad, but just like see different people who have passed away, like, and she would tell stories and stuff like that. And for me growing up with that, it was kind of normal, for lack of a better term. So it was never anything like scary.
That's cool.
And then as I got older, I kind of I'm understanding like where all of this is kind of coming from and why this is maybe why it's time for me to like maybe tap into it or whatever the case may be. Yeah. words. That's right.
Not maybe.
Words. Yeah. It's time to kind of tap into all of this and see what, not so much what sticks, but I think what I'd be best at seeing, doing, feeling, whatever the case may be, or speaking, and I understand now more of like the Mexican culture, the Day of the Dead, the honoring of the dead and all that stuff. And I think that's so absolutely beautiful. And I don't think take that into consideration enough here in the States, because it's very taboo. It's like, they're dead, they're gone, and like kind of leave it alone, like they're gone, like keep moving kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was very much like that too, when all this kind of happened, when Dirk passed away and stuff. But I was just like, no, like let's honor them. Like, why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about the stories and the little things? Coldplay is a very big part of my being. The song Viva la Vida, right? That was our song, our wedding song, moving actually when we got married. So our exit song, that was our song, and it wasn't wedding-esque per se, but that was just like, when you ruled the world, like that's how we felt, like we were ruling the world, like that was our world, you know what I mean? So, Coldplay is a very big part of my life and a very important band, and all their songs, and I've met a few people, you including, Stacy, when I talked to her, Yellow was a big song for her. It's just, different songs for whatever reason. And I was always told that, whenever you're feeling something or whenever you're thinking about something and a certain song is going to pop in, that's whoever it is speaking to you, your mom, your aunt, your, Kai, Dirk, whoever it is. So just like when things like that happen, I think I'm more, number one, more open to it for sure. And number two, I think I'm paying just a little bit more attention to these certain things that kind of happen that are just not coincidences, they're things that
synchronicities.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And you're trusting it, right? You're learning to trust it and not second guess it or be like, oh, that's just my ego mind. I wanted to hear that or something. You realize, because it, many times it'll hit in your body when it happens.
Oh yeah.
Feel something and that's what you listen to, not this, not
my
brain here, guys that are on audio, and my hitting here in your chest is the other point, for those that aren't on video, and I'm
and it's it's crazy, just certain songs. And even Sting, I've heard there's I can't remember the name of the song right now, but I remember, and I had heard it so many times before, and this just one day I was just feeling super blue, and then it just popped on and I just like started bawling. I was like, yes, like this is it, this is exactly what I'm feeling, and it's just the wildest thing that stuff like that, number one, happens, and that we're, actually able to really pay attention to it and really acknowledge it and accept it, because before it's like, no, that's just this, or that just happened because of whatever, and kind of like brush it off. But when they kind of start repeating and repeating, you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And
it's time to really pay attention.
Yeah. And at some point you may start getting the double signs. And I don't know if it's just because they know I'm the way I am, but I usually get a double whammy. Like, well, since we're on Coldplay, I told you the other day that my late best friend Justy, it was the anniversary of her passing. And I looked down on my phone after talking to you in the messenger, and I was on this large group chat of like 200 people that I don't know for some witchy thing. And the name Justine was right up there.
No.
And at the same time of me seeing that, because I had Alexa playing just random music, a Coldplay song comes on. And I just got the shivers. And let me tell you, Justy wasn't the biggest fan of Coldplay, but right after she passed the next day, we would sing some songs and joke around, so I had, for whatever reason, I specifically said, Justy, if you're still here and you haven't crossed over, play me some Coldplay. And it came on the radio within, I don't know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes of driving or so. And I was like, oh. And so that became the thing that happened. And so she sent the double whammy, her name, just in case I didn't know. Plus it was on the day of her passing anniversary and the song at the same time as seeing the name. And I was just like, I had a moment, a moment. But I was like, hey, and that's all I can say sometimes because I'm too emotional. I'm just like, hi guys, hi. Thank you. And I always thank them too, by the way.
100%. Yeah. So do I.
Yeah,
and it's the weirdest thing. My sister's, who are you thanking? I was like, I go, oh, that was grandma. She wanted to say hi. Or that was mom. She wanted to say hi. Or Dirk or Kai, whatever. And my sister's just like, she kind of gives me this look. And I'm like, remember your dream that you had that you so vividly remember that you were hugging mom? She goes, yeah. I go, it's like that.
It's like that.
Okay, I get it.
I get it all the time, just saying. It's and I feel like it's my perception that, and I've heard this before as well, that thanking them is kind of acknowledging, yay, we got the sign through, I received it, because they're trying different things to get through to you.
And PS, I think from our, sorry to interrupt you, I think from our session this week, it wasn't my mom. I think it was my grandmother. So I talked to my sister about it. And she goes,
on your dad's side?
No, on my mom's side.
On your
my mom's mom. So my mom's mom, Aunt Rosie's mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So my sister thinks it's her. She's like, well, mom didn't really wear the moo-moos like grandma did. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I think it was grandma. She goes, yeah, maybe it was grandma. And she goes, and what else? And she's like, I don't know. Like she was trying to talk to Jamie, and then she got a little antsy, and then she put her hands on Jamie, was trying to tell Jamie to tell me something, but it just couldn't come out. And then she said, she said something about a salt shaker. And she's like, a salt shaker? I'm like, yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
And after listening to a little bit of the podcast with Colby and Anthony, I'm wondering if that is a sign that I have not figured out yet, meaning something besides a salt shaker. We don't know. That's why, again, like they do, and I ask you, does that mean anything? Have you discovered there's anything with salt or anything? And if not, maybe it's a new symbol they've started giving me that I haven't quite figured out yet. But it was I don't go back on 100%. It was a salt shaker, and she's shaking the salt shaker. And I'm like, all right. And I did hear mom, so maybe it's the mom's mom or something, but that was pretty clear. And her energy was pretty clear.
Yeah. Sorry, my girls are little, strong-willed. Okay.
I like it. I like it a lot. They have passion. They're passionate about their message.
Oh, that's funny.
They're not meek. I mean, that's easier for folks that are either while it's intentional or accidentally receiving messages. The persistent ones are very helpful, at least in the beginning, not the ones you have to pry stuff out of. The ones that are like, hey, listen, I got something for you. Hold on. Everybody out of the way. I got to talk to this girl.
Yeah.
I like that, at least. So what was that? Oh, my sister will also come in song as well.
Yeah.
And there was a story. I don't know if I ever told you about the Christmas, like 2 Christmases ago, something like that. All right. So
I don't think so.
Okay. It's my sister, we didn't have a whole lot in common other than like music, because that's one of the first things. We had an 11-year difference in our age. So she would try to connect with me and taught me 70s music and stuff like that in the beginning, and Pink Floyd, everything. So I like know all the Pink Floyd by heart. And kind of our Gothic style that we like, things like that. So flash forward, okay, the last Christmas we were together, we ended up going shopping, which wasn't something we'd done in a while. And she ended up buying me this vintage Christmas shirt, because, you know, I'm that Christmas geek and Yule geek. And so I love this shirt to pieces. So I wear it every time. And so a couple Christmases ago, was driving in the car, looking at Christmas lights, going to this big, I think it's where Dennis Phillips has this big neighborhood in Tarpon or something like that. So, you know, they have synchronized music playing and all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I have my shirt on, and we go past this house, has a display of all of the claymation Rudolph, because that was a thing we liked too. And so it has the Bumble, of course, the Abominable Snowman, which was her favorite, next to the Grinch. But Abominable was there. I got her ornaments and everything. So there's this giant Abominable waving, right? And then you wouldn't believe this, and Ryan didn't believe this either until it was just crazy. All right, so we're listening to this Christmas only music station.
Yeah.
The song ends and Heart's Magic Man comes on the radio. Not a Christmas song. However, this is a song when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And this very room I'm in right now used to be her room. And I begged her at my birthday party to please open the window and play the record and play that song, because I loved that song when I was little. I did not know what the song meant, guys, but I thought it was magic and Magic Man. So that was like the big thing when I was little. Please play Magic Man for me. And so I'm sitting there in the shirt with Abominable waving at me, and Magic Man comes on the Christmas radio station. And then Ryan's like, oh my God, she had chills. And she's like, if this goes back to Christmas after this song, there's no doubt. And don't you know it did? And I was like, I just cried. I didn't know what to do. I was like, wow, okay. You couldn't have been more clear when, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. It's because it's true, you know, and a lot of people dismiss it, and I wish they would not, you know, and I know it's hard. It's not an easy, you know, thing to grasp, especially when you're feeling sad, you know, and you miss them so much, you know, and you hear these certain things, whether it's music, whether you see things or just smells. Like I would get my mom's smell, like, oh my gosh, even till this day, like I still like, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, okay, Mom, hi. And I'll say it loud, you know, and my dad thinks I'm cuckoo, which is hilarious. He goes, who are you? I was like, I just smelled Mom. I go, that was Mom, you know, and I feel bad because, you know, he's very still kind of processing, you know, everything, and it's going to take a minute, and I understand that, you know, but he is really cool about all of this because he believes it. He believes in it. He believes it. Whatever this is, you know, the different, you know, realms and all that jazz, like he is like he is really the coolest cat. Like he's like, oh, absolutely. He's like, of course. He goes, of course she was seeing Dirk, you know, because she was, you know, she was going to go, you know, to the other side, you know. I'm like, who are you?
That's awesome though. You know, you don't always get that support in the family. And it sounds like your sister might be turning around too.
We're slowly turning her.
Yeah, I remember shortly after my mom passed, I would smell cigarette smoke, like in the office or in the studio, and nobody in there, obviously.
Yeah.
And it would just be a woof, and I'm like, huh, could it be? Because
Yeah.
I was still kind of new in my first year or two, that really digging in.
Hmm.
Then it stopped, and I don't get that too much anymore. She sends other things now, and it evolved over time.
Yeah. It's not always
That's
the
what
same stuff. Correct.
No, no,
Correct.
except my grandpa always sends tennis balls. It's always the way, and it couldn't be more. I don't know if I told you this story. He taught tennis here just to do
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
he was retired, yeah. And he had me out there since I was like 3 playing tennis, and just like with the Magic, it got to be like so much that I was like, I don't want to play tennis anymore. I want to play softball. I'm not playing. I was a little
Yeah.
bratty, little. And I'm looking back, I'm like, little bratty. But it was like every day we went out there and played, and then he'd have his friends, and so tennis was a big part of his life. He went out twice a day, literally, to hit
Wow.
balls and stuff, and taught all the tourists that came down and things like that. So tennis was his life. We'd have to watch Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf and all
Oh
the
my
people.
gosh. I
He
love
had
it.
all the newspaper clippings and the angles, and so tennis was his jam. And so he'll just randomly send tennis balls places, and the most random place I've ever seen it was when I had to take myself after the car accident for an MRI on my back, way up on McMullen Boot Ranch area. Right in
Okay.
the middle of the damn, or sorry people, well, we're just going to put explicit on this because it's going to come out.
Yeah.
So I'm getting out of my truck, and I look down at the parking space right next to me, and there's a tennis ball sitting there. And I'm like,
That's
oh, crap.
hilarious.
All right, it's going to be okay, because I don't love the doctors. So, and going in a machine was not, it was the least
Not your
favorite
cup of tea. Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
I wanted to do. So it was a neat little sign there. He did that at Enchanted once too, but there was 5 tennis balls in the parking lot.
No
Right
way.
Space. And I don't even remember what I was going through at the time, but I was like, that's on Main Street. So again, not a tennis.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
tennis balls in the parking lot, period. I mean, that's just not, that's not
yeah, on Main Street and on McMullen Booth. So those, if you're walking by the tennis court, sometimes I'll pick one up that's down the street, and I kind of smile, but I know it could go either way. But those definite signs, no doubt.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
What other signs do you experience? And when did you really start picking up? Was it after Dirk that you really started paying attention to them more, or was it always?
I think I mean, I want to say maybe after, Kai passed, but it really wasn't until Dirk passed is when I really kind of started not so much paying attention, but like it just kind of, it hit harder. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing, because I never had, as of yet, and I'm going to say yet, I haven't yet had an experience with Kai after he passed. You know what I mean? And it was not like I don't know. I just feel like, for me, I could be wrong, but this is my experience. I feel like we kind of said everything that we had to say with each other. And if he's here, if he is around, if I need him, he's around. But I think it was more of the connection with Dirk. Because even Paula had I don't know if it was a vision or whatever. She's like, we did a meditation. We were in Casadega, and we did a meditation and stuff. And she's like, I have to tell you, she's like, Dirk kind of came in my meditation. And of course, who was right next to him was Kai. But, he was kind of like, not annoyed, but he was just like, okay, I have to come with you down here. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of visit situation, which I thought was pretty funny. But I was like, yeah, but that's their relationship. Like, that's how they were. Like, Dirk literally dragged him everywhere. Like, they always wanted, like, he always wanted to hang out with Kai. Kai yeah, wanted to hang out with his dad, but not all the time, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, but she was telling me, she's like, that's, he just wanted to say that he's, proud of you and all this stuff. And I was just like, did Kai say anything? And she's like, no, he didn't say anything. I was like, he never really does. Like, I never had, as of yet, an experience with him, like either in a dream or something that happened. I'll think about him for whatever reason every time I would go to, like think about the bars and stuff that we used to go to in Germany, because we would always like stay out later than his dad and stuff like that. But nothing really, I don't know if the connection wasn't there or doesn't need to be there or whatever the reason. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I think I noticed it more noticed things more when Dirk passed away, more so. And kind of started paying attention to different little things. And, like I told you, when he first passed away, I would see shadows and stuff. And I would say, like, it would literally like come home at night, and it was during kind of almost Christmas time kind of thing. And we had it upstairs, downstairs, and I would come in through. So when we would walk in the door, the stairs would go kind of towards the right. And then there was like a small kind of hallway to the left to go around to the kitchen. So every time I would walk there in front of the stairs, I would see like a shadow walk across, like go past the upstairs room, because you could see it. It was open. And I would like walk by and then go back. And I'm like, okay, maybe because I'm just scared because it's dark outside. I'm not really a big fan of the dark, kind of thing. And then it would happen again. And I said, look, really loud. I was like, look, I go, if you want to visit me, do it in my dreams. I go, please don't do this. This is not for me. This is not what I'm all about. I cannot right now. And then it stopped.
And that's a very good point you're making, because they will, if they are your loved ones or someone that has some connection with you, they don't want to scare you. And sometimes we get overwhelmed in the moment and we tell them, don't do this anymore. Don't come, don't do this. And they stop. And then you may come to a point later and you like want to bring that back, and you kind of have to work on getting that sort of thing back. But yeah, they will stop. They're not trying to scare you. I know I wanted so badly to clairvoyantly see my mom. And I know I've told you that I'm primarily clairsentient, so that was the easiest for me, and didn't realize why I couldn't just see her sitting out on the patio after she passed. And I wanted nothing more in life than to sit with her and talk to her and see her. And I just couldn't. And at that point, but I did learn that the sensations I would get in the particular feathers that would come about. There's this one kind of bird out here that leaves a feather, and that was kind of, I narrowed it down to being her, because it was usually tied to when I was thinking about her, and I'd see the same thing, this repeat. But flash forward to when I was diving into more mediumship classes, I want to say 2013, maybe 12, something like that. I took this one angel mediumship class with Mary Jo. I was kind of co-hosting, but I always took the class too and did the meditations while I was helping her. And I did it. I hit it on. I was in the zone, and it was very cliche. The vision they gave me, it was just this mist like you see in the movies with a light behind it.
No way.
You ask him to step forward, and what you know, she stepped forward, and I saw her as clear as being here, and I bawled my eyes out.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted it, but I couldn't handle it. And she's never come back like that again. She did not want me so upset. I excused myself from the room. I was just, I just was overwhelmed because I saw her.
You were probably just in shock too. Like, yes, holy shit.
Okay, she came through, and it wasn't just like a little essence of her or something. It was just like I wanted to reach out and grab her and hug her again. And I saw her features, and you know, it's weird when you don't see someone for a long time, and you just have a photo and then like to see him again. So I completely got overwhelmed. And so I asked for something that I was not ready to handle, and it hasn't come back yet. However, I am working on some things. I'm ready now, Ma, by the way. I'm good. I can do this. We can do this. I've
She's
calmed
like,
myself.
I don't know. I'm not sure
I
yet.
don't know. I saw what you did last time in front of all those people. You know, come on now.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I did. So, you know, they don't want to scare you. So if
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, and it's funny because I bring that up now because the last maybe 2 or 3 days, that's what I've been noticing, like just like this, like shadow kind of situation, and I'm just like, no, that's not what. No, that wasn't somebody. But it's no face, no nothing. But it's just like this.
Have you thought to say who are you instead of that's not somebody?
I haven't yet.
Why don't you? I invite.
But it's not scary. It's not scary. It's just like, and I had it actually again this morning because I, you know, again, it was like 5 a.m. and I was like, oh, and I stopped the car because I thought somebody was walking there and I didn't see them out of my like blind spot. And I turned and I was just like, are they behind me? What? Oh boy.
So as the shadow kind of figure out the corner, kind of like what you experienced right after he passed. And, you know, I know that you're about to kind of venture into a brand new thing. I wonder if there's not more visits coming, and him feeling that maybe you can handle it now because you are very much in control, and you know well enough that you can escort anything out of the room you don't want. You know, you're in control and totally empowered in that. And some folks get scared of it and allow them to control, or it to control them and bring fear in them. But you're no nonsense. You're like, no, leave.
No, remember I told you that thing that came by when I was kind of like half asleep and stuff. I was like, what in the actual F is this? I was like, oh, hell no. And I remember I had my smudge spray from Whole Foods. I was all excited. I was like, oh no, spraying that everywhere. You know, the sage oil everywhere. I was pissed. I was like, oh no, hell no, we're not doing this. Because my mom, I think, had just passed.
Do you have a candle?
I do.
Okay. Because I'm seeing these things.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's maybe smoke. Because either that or you got angels flying around you right now. Because
probably flying around. Hold on. Let me charge. Okay. One second. Because my thing's gonna die.
Always with you with that.
Sorry, you can edit that out.
Nah.
This is real life, people.
Real life.
So
yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know if it's maybe, and like you said, like I'm not scared of it, but I think I'm just like, is it that I'm tired? Was it that I'm tired? You know, again, ego kind of second guessing a little bit. But I have seen it, like I saw it this morning and I saw it again. It wasn't yesterday, it was probably the day before. I think when I saw you, and maybe one more time before that. So I don't know.
Ask.
Yeah, I'll have to ask.
Like me at the cemetery, remember to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've been, playing with cards a little bit more, the tarot and stuff, just kind of seeing I think I just don't know how to kind of, number one, they're very big.
Yeah.
That's the first kind of
issue. Now I like them to be a certain size.
Mm-hmm.
So they're easy to shuffle and handle. I wasn't that way in the beginning. I liked the beauty of them and the artistry. And now, I've tried to shuffle some of those wonderfully beautiful decks and it just flies all over the place because my hands aren't right for it. So that's the thing. You got to find one you feel good. And there's a certain size. I'll have to bring a couple and show you the size. See if you like that size.
Yeah. I mean, the cards are really, really cool. They're really pretty. I literally was thinking, I was like, oh, maybe I put them in a guest bathroom, like a wall of them.
Oh yeah, you put your artistry here. I'm gonna end up with half my cards on the wall in here when you come home.
There you go.
You're like,
see,
nope, we're gonna use these as display.
We're gonna use these as display. You're not gonna use them, we'll use them somewhere else. But yeah, no, I've been noticing that, and I haven't had that in about 5 years. Yeah. Almost 5 years. So four
I'd
and a
be
half years at
curious
least.
when
Mhm.
you engage. And always ask Archangel Michael. I always say this guy's is he's like the bouncer of the spiritual world, right?
Yeah.
Archangel Michael, if there's anything here that is, low energy or not in the highest and best, escort him out. I welcome in my past loved ones, things like that, to kind of keep them around, so that
Yeah.
will kind of rule out some things if you're still seeing that.
Mhm.
Or just ask them for another sign. If this is you, can you show me that this is you in some other way, and engage and explore. You're at the level exploring now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find out, because wouldn't that be neat if you heard something, got a little clairaudience of a nickname or something that he would call you or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I think it feels supportive. It doesn't feel bad or
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't feel bad. It was just like, I think more surprise than anything. And I'm like, oh, that's back. Whatever, or they're back, sorry I say that, but
Yeah.
that's happening again, basically, you know what I mean?
Well, you got something big going on here, so
Yeah.
makes sense. Animals, let's hop over to like animals. Have you
Mhm.
had any experiences with animals sending you signs or anything like that?
Not signs, but I feel with the animals, like especially my dogs, like my buddy that I had to put down, Gunner. Like I knew that I had to put him down, but literally like the day that we had planned the veterinarian and stuff to come in and see if that was the plan of action, like he just told me with his eyes, and just like he was not in good shape. Like he just told me, it's like, this is not happening, like this is it. And he was whining too, but he was on so many different meds, like pain meds, nerve blockers, anti-inflammatories. He was probably like on 15 pills a day at least.
Yeah. But
I
mean, those that are in the know kind of understand when she's saying they told me, because there is a connection in the eyes, and your clairsentient kicks in, that ability, and you can sense and be connected on that level with them and know things. And sense what they're feeling, and they can get through to you if you allow yourself to be in that receptive mode.
What's funny is that my sister actually reminded me, and I had totally forgot that was going to be my job. I was going to be a veterinarian. That when I was little, like that absolutely was like the end all be all. That's what I was going to do. I loved animals so much. I had never had a dog in my life until I got married, but I loved dogs so much, but I was highly allergic. I'm kind of like cats. But dogs was like my thing, but that was the thing. I was just so allergic. I was like, okay, I have to pick something else. And then, I get the dogs, and I was on meds for maybe a couple of months, but then one day I forgot to take my nebulizer and my pill or whatever it is. And it just kind of, my body just got used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I was going to say dogs, because you mentioned cats and stuff. It's interesting. Yeah,
cats still, for whatever reason, I haven't built the immunity to them because I'm just not around them. So if there's like a cat in the room, or a cat's been in the room with carpet and stuff like that, it's very hard for me. But if it's like tile or nothing like sticky kind of around, for lack of a better term, like I'm cool, I'm good.
Yeah. I've noticed with the different cats, I get a different reaction. I've had a couple cats that I'm super allergic to, and other ones didn't seem to bother me. Same with the dog Charlie, doesn't bother me. Little Charlie. Ditch never bothered me, but Big Sawyer, and that could be because he's rolling around in pollen and everything else. But
probably, yeah, true.
But with connecting in, I know with Stitch, I had talks with him that last day, because I was at a point, because I'd lost some animals, but I was finally at this, I want to say even a mastery point of where you can actually connect to them beforehand and take advantage of those times to say what you want to say and ask them. I had the forethought to say, hey, I really would like it if you send me signs. It won't scare me, you know.
Yeah.
It would make me happy if you stay around, and you know, that sort of thing. And I know he has always been like a little human. And when he was very much sending me his own little messages of like, tried to take him to the vet to see what was going on there, and they had possibly put him down, and he out of nowhere jumped up and tried to run off the table and take off out of there like, Satan, I'm doing this on my own terms. And I was like, whoa, what are you doing, buddy? So took him home, and he had to be looking at me and laying there and just very connected with another being. There wasn't a human. And then the sign he sent me, it was a little overwhelming the first couple of days, but I loved it, but it just sent me into crying fits again.
Yeah.
But one of it was, I told you I was on Facebook, and Stitch was a little unique. He was a Pomchi, so Pomeranian Chihuahua mix. Could never find an ornament that fit him. But so I'm on Facebook and I can't sleep, you know, it's like 2 a.m. or something. And I scroll and I see, you know, missing dog in Pinellas County on that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It looked just like him. And he was looking at the camera, and then they had 3 pictures, and each one looked like him in a different phase of his life. And one, he was sitting in a car, which looked like my old truck seat.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Shown Ryan, she just first assumed that was Stitch in the truck from an old picture. And so I was like, I just started crying. I was like, thanks, buddy. You know, because I really feel like he said that, because I mean, I've never seen another picture of one that looked like him before.
Yeah. Yeah. And with Gunner either, you know, he's kind of a typical German Shepherd, but he had, for me, you know, he had a very unique look. And I did see, like, I think it was on Instagram or something. I was just like, oh, like my Gunny, or somebody was literally vacuuming their dog. That's what I used to do to him because he was so hairy, and he would let me. So would literally amazing. Like, you know, vacuum him, and he just thought it was like a spa day. Like he would just lay there and just sleep.
That's amazing.
You know, so yeah, and I saw that the other day. I was like, oh my Gunny. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, they do. Your animals send you signs. Your people send you signs. The angels send
100%.
Oh yeah. Gods and goddesses. Lord knows we've had some Egyptian stuff going on, and I don't think either one of us can quite figure out what's happening, but it's still happening. I saw something again today. I almost sent it to you. At the Tarpon
No,
Market.
who was it? Where was it? Somebody had, I don't know if it was Facebook or on some show or something, that the guy pulls out like 2 little statues, and it's the 2, I think maybe it was Colby was talking about something, and he pulls out like an Anubis thing or something like that, and I'm like, what is going on with this still?
Right? Still, it's almost been a year, and I am ashamed to say, folks, that I haven't figured it out yet, but there's something going on that Stephanie and I are both experiencing that has to do with the Egyptian realm.
Yeah.
And we will figure this out. Yeah. That will be on a part 2.
We'll need another visit.
Series.
Yeah, I'm requesting another visit, young sir or old sir, whatever.
Sir. And, you know, Anubis, you know, when we think about things, it deals with the underworld, the otherworld, and that sort of crossing over phase. And your podcast also deals with grief and recovery and, dare I say, loss. I know you don't like to use the word loss. And things like that. So I don't know. And I'm, you know, working more and more active mediumship. So there's something happening here with the crossing over business and these Egyptian folks.
For sure. Yeah. And then I think that was the most important thing for me, is like, I just didn't want to always, you know, even though of course, most of the time stuff circles back to, you know, Kai's death, or, you know, my mom or my grandmother or Dirk or whatnot. Just kind of moving forward. Like, you know, I had a conversation with a young lady. She's like, you know, it was Nicolette. I had a chat with Nicolette. So we were chatting about something, and she goes, yeah, you know, when I got a divorce, it was so hard, I was with him for, 20 something years, blah, blah, blah. I said, honestly, a lot of people don't think about it, but I go, you're also grieving a loss or grieving a death, the death of that life that you thought you were going to have forever and never, amen. That's not happening anymore. That's that thought, or that, for lack of a better term, fantasy of living a life with a person, until death do us part, what have you. That's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening anymore, and you have to kind of, not start over again, or not start from scratch, but just start from experience and kind of figure out, what do you want to do? What now, really? Because and that goes with a lot of stuff, with divorce, with death, with losing a job, or moving to a different state. What now? It's a lot. It's a lot, and even, working on, this spiritual aspect of life. What now? Okay, I'm here, this I feel good at, I want to level up. Like, how do I do that? Or, what is it calling me to do? And I think as long as we're open to it and we're honest about it, of what we want to do, like, it'll invigorate you versus drain you. And I think that's one of the most important things about life in general, whatever it is. It's a relationship, it's a job, it's a family member, like whatever it is, like you should be invigorated, not drained.
Yep. You tap into your empathic nature and say, how is this making me feel? And be honest with that. And it's so hard for many of us, I'm recovering, to put others' needs first. Oh, well, they're going to be upset with me, or, oh, I don't want to let them down, or I don't want to do that. But be honest with yourself and say, how does this make me feel to commit to doing this thing?
Yeah.
And who?
Then that's all. And I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I say yes to everything, and I think I'm at the point that my yes year is over. I'm exhausted. Like, I need to, not say yes immediately. And that's my fault, because I always want to help.
Yeah.
But, like this weekend, I booked myself. Oh gosh, hold on.
Oh, we'll give her a second here to pop back in. So while Stephanie's probably coming back in here, she got bopped out here for a second. Talking about overcommitting and things. I know this isn't necessarily on the signs topic, but it can be actually. You might be receiving signs for a while, letting you know that you're going in the wrong direction, or you're overgiving, or, you're oversharing of what it is that you have. It might be finances, it might be your time and energy. And I'll bet you that the universe and the angels and your guides have been sending you signs saying, hey, time out, too much. And so paying attention to those signs is important. How might it happen? Okay, well, you might open up a magazine and see an article that talks about, hey there. That's all right. I kept going on about signs and oversharing and wrapping that into it, because this girl here is moving so much. She is always on charge. We need to recharge. I think that's a sign from the universe about her. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll finish that statement to everybody else. How you might see signs that you're overgiving, overdoing, oversharing. You may just open up a magazine and there will be, book your retreat, or this, or it might be, the headline that speaks to you. So you're looking at, that's a little bit of clairvoyance actually coming through there, and they're sending it in that way. But they will send you signs way ahead of time before you're drained that, by the way, hey, you're overdoing. And I am infamous for ignoring those, going by my old programming of growing up and being achieve. I can hit one more thing today. I can do that. And it is been a lifetime of undoing that programming, and paying attention. My goal is to pay attention to the very first sign I get and then follow through.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's unlearning what we've learned for so much. Yes, and I'm sorry because I don't know how to do things on my phone, and Yeah.
All
Anyway,
good.
but no, it's, you know, and I've been listening to the app, that Human Design, and she has like different things of, you know, how I learn and how, what best serves me as a generator and all this stuff. And the one thing that she did say was like, you know, stop being, you know, a yes person. Yes, you want to help, you want to be, how do you say, a tool for somebody else, but you also have to remember you have to be a tool for yourself. And, you know, maybe think about it before you say yes, like, I'll get back to you, or, you know, can we circle back? And I was like, oh, those are words I have to use. Like, those are phrases I have to use. Like when I tell you, you know, not that I get into a fight with somebody, but somebody says something really kind of quirky to me, and I'm just like in shock, and I can't respond. I have no rebuttal because I didn't think this was going to come out of this person's mouth, and I have
Yeah.
nothing to say. So like you said, I have to have like little, you know, I call like cheat sheets. Like, you know, if somebody is something, if I feel a certain way about something, like just a quick, you know, shut it down.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do.
Again,
And that's
my
what I have to
favorite
kind of think
now
about.
is, thank you for your feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, that's actually my favorite, because it kind of shuts it down. You heard what they said, you're not accepting it into your energy, but
Right.
you're moving on.
Yeah. It's a nice one of these.
Yes, it is. Thank you for your feedback. Not listening, don't
Not
care.
listening. Thanks.
And if I say this to clients, that's not, it doesn't mean the same thing, by the way.
Yeah.
It's coming at me with critiques and unsolicited advice and things. And that's another thing.
Mhm.
I don't think it has anything to do with signs. However, I'm a recovering fixer. So what I
Yeah.
learned is, and you'll see this on a lot of memes, I'm sure you've seen this, how to hold space without trying to fix anything. I
It's
always
hard.
instantly, I came up with, oh, well, did you try this? Or how about this? And it's hard even with talking to clients that are texting. Okay, do I offer something? Is this a client thing? Or is this, you know, where do I stand with this? What should I be doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's not a signs thing, but just apparently it came through. So it had to be said.
Yeah.
Today. Whoever's
Exactly.
going to listen to this is going to hear that.
Right. Exactly.
Let's see.
Awesome.
Right path. I wrote a couple notes here. Oh, here's on health. I got a sign the other day. We're talking about all these different experiences, guys, because they come in so many different ways. So we're giving you little examples of how we've, you know, received them. So maybe it would ring a bell. Maybe you'll think of something that actually happened in the past. You're like, oh, wait, that was a sign from so-and-so.
Yeah.
And or going forward, you might pay attention a bit more. So while I was in Maine, I realized, you know, due to some of my injuries and stuff, and I was always a sports person before, like I said, I kickboxed, I did, you know, softball since I was a baby all the way through college, like sports was it, all of that. Very exercise oriented, gym and things like that. And I could perform, I could do things. And I know I'm getting a little older, but I have aches and pains now. I have from an accident, a knee and a back situation, which I have, you know, outdone what the doctors have said. Thank you, Reiki.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not where I want to be, long story short. And so I'm thinking, okay, what would be the best course of action for me now to get back? Because I look at my aunt and uncle, they're kind of where I am, but they're 74. And when they were my age, they were rebuilding houses. And I'm like, I want to be able to hike that mountain. And today is not that day. But I want to be able to do that. So what do I need? You know, sending out to the universe, please guide me. Do I need a personal trainer? Do I need to do a particular thing, this or that? Because I really am racking my brain. Nothing happened. Nothing came to me. So I'm like, okay. And that's another thing, guys. You put it out there and let it go. They may not answer you that day, or you may miss the sign, but they've heard you, especially if you're talking to the angels. They always hear you.
Yeah.
So flash forward to when I was leaving session with you. I got a phone call from a very close friend I hadn't talked to in a while, and she's like, hey, and I dial her up or let her do a Bluetooth on the phone or in the car. Long story short, again, I squirrel. She's like, I got to tell you about this dream I had last night about you. I said, okay. She goes, we were walking and her dad passed a few months ago. So we were
Mhm.
walking down his old street in Georgia, and
Hey.
I know, right? And she hadn't seen me in a while, in the dream, and she's like, "You look great. You've lost so much weight. You're so active. You just look like so healthy." And she asked in the dream, she's like, "What did you do?" And I said,
Mhm.
"Well, I walk a lot. I walk like 28 miles, specifically 28 miles." And I'm like, "Why 28 miles?" And this is in real life. I asked her, Renee is her name, and she's like, "Well, that's the distance between your house and my house in real life." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's interesting." She's
That's
like, and
funny.
I know. And then she said, "And then you went over to this diving board and went all the way to the top, dove off, did like a triple spin dive in." And I was like, "Oh my God, she's so healthy." And so I was like, "Thank you," because they sent it through you. They want
Walking
me
and swimming.
really, really, really get to serious about walking and to change my health. And I understand why they're going with walking instead of some more, intense thing. Is probably because of, I'm healing and stuff.
Of
But I
course.
mean, that was the answer. There wasn't a personal trainer. And it was just so bizarre to hear this. She was just like, "I could not believe you in there. You were just diving, triple spinning and saying, I've been walking." That was my answer.
I love it.
So
I
anyways,
love it.
that was kind of neat and very useful. But they came through a friend,
Yes.
and sometimes
Yeah.
it'll come that way.
Like what happened to me at the house with Wayne, about the pictures of Dirk. I had taken everything down, all the pictures and stuff, because it was just hard for me. And when he came to the house and he stayed with us during the hurricane and stuff, during Ian, he's like, what was the relationship with your family and your late husband? I was like, "Oh my God, it was great. It was fabulous." He's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "There's not one picture of him anywhere." I was like, "Well, yeah, well, I took them down because, I couldn't see them." He's like, "Well, don't you think that they're grieving too, and they want to see him, and have a picture and a memory of him?" And I was just like, "Oh my God, fuck,
Yeah.
you're right."
We miss
Like,
these things, but
of
they send
course.
messages to us.
Mhm.
And that was also for you, I think, also directed maybe by the angels as well, for you to, as
Yeah.
another layer in your healing.
Because I always felt, and I hate to say embarrassed, and I don't know why I want to get teary eyed about it, but I don't want to say embarrassed that this happened. But I think it was just the ego of having a judgment of somebody else, because I've already had an experience like that was not pleasant, and it was very ugly. And for this person who, I'm, involved with, and I love very much, is giving me kind of like that support that I didn't have before. Number one, it was foreign. Not that I didn't have it with Dirk, but with my other like relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Knowing exactly what had happened and exactly the story, both of the stories, the whole jazz, the whole kit and caboodle, and actually saying that to me was just like, wow, like he is not what I thought this was going to be. Like, I don't have to hide it. I don't have to be ashamed about it. I don't have to be embarrassed by it, and I just, because you feel a little certain way. It was just hard for me to have, my wedding picture on my parents' house, and then, the boyfriend comes in, not that I put him away for him. I just put him away because I had, way before I met him, I put him away because I just couldn't be reminded of that all the time. Like, that's no longer there. And it was hard. It was really hard, and it's just, for somebody like that to come into your life and actually, say that in such a gentle manner and such a loving manner. It's like, okay, not everybody is an asshole about everything.
Yeah. And I don't think the universe unicorn. He is
a unicorn,
right?
He sparkles, the whole jazz.
There you go. I don't think the unicorn. The universe. I don't think it could have sent it in any more any more of an effective way for you.
100%.
Like you listened with that, where you may not have listened with me or anyone else around you. That was perfect delivery. Way to go,
Yeah.
guys. Perfect
Way to
delivery on
go.
that bet.
100%. 100%.
Bullseye.
Yeah. Well done. Well done,
Done, I
everyone.
say. Good
Good
chap.
team. Good team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's good stuff. Well, is there anything else you think that the listeners might want to hear or benefit from, or any more stories, or I don't know.
Yeah, I just think be open. That maybe sometimes we're not open to certain things and different situations and different things that kind of come into our lives, because we're maybe not in a place to receive it just yet. And I like that, just not yet. It's not like never gonna happen or this or whatever. That's, I think, the language thing that we're for sure, myself, I'm trying to change. I'm not there yet, or I can't do this yet. You know what I mean? Like, just add yet to everything negative that you're saying about whatever the situation is, because one day you'll get there, whether it's the new job, the new career, the new book, the new podcast, whatever it is. I think just be open to it, and don't be, or even if you haven't seen a sign or felt a sign or noticed a sign, you haven't seen a sign yet. You haven't felt your mom, your dad, whoever yet. It'll happen.
It.
Correct. It'll happen. And I think once we maybe end this, hopefully you guys contact us and let us know, what you've seen, what you noticed. Because I think that's the best part, is just kind of the interaction of the listeners and knowing different things, because I get some stuff all the time and I'm just like, holy cow, I had no idea. You don't know the stories of people that you think and once they tell you their stories, you're just like, that connection is that much stronger, or that bond is that much stronger. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love hearing stories and hearing other people's stories. So guys, throw it in the comments, write to us, whatever you'd like to do.
Yes.
But we'd love to hear more stories.
For sure. And then we can put them on the podcast. We can all chit chat about the stories. Yes. I love it.
We like a spirit chat. We're probably going to make this a thing. I may kind of maybe force Steph into this, because I love doing it. And I think, she brings up things that I don't think about, and maybe vice versa. I don't know.
Same.
But it's good times. Good times. All
Absolutely.
Right, guys. So if you have any questions on any of this stuff, holler at us again in the comments, or leave your stories. And
yes,
you will find us in I'll put all the information in the details down there about how to reach her, and check out her podcast as well. It's got some very cool cats on there that she's just finding these people, very interesting people, and doing interviews, and it's good stuff. I listen to each of them. So
appreciate it. Thank you. Same.
Right. Till next time.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank
See
you
guys.
Bye.
Later.